Welcome to lesson 2 of the Top 1% Founders Playbook, and today we are basically going to discuss why most people never get to the top 1%. Okay, people always come to me saying, "Jandre, I'm stuck." And after working with 600 companies now, this is the common issues. Okay, I think you're going to love this. This is going to open your perspective a little bit. It might feel like a little bit of fluff, but if you pay attention and you apply yourself and really take what I say with an open mind, then I promise you, you are going to find this very interesting. So most people, if you look at the slide in front of you now, they blame all the things around them. So when I speak to business owners, they're always blaming the external. They're always playing the victim. My staff, I can't grow because of my staff. I can't grow because of the economy. I can't grow because the market and the competition is just too tight. The market is too saturated. I can't grow because of the algorithm that might have changed on Meta. We used to do well, then the algorithm changed, and now we don't do well. The economy is tough. Guys, after working with so many businesses now, I can tell you that is rarely the actual problem. There's a very small percentage that is the absolute most important problem in your business right now. Okay, that is just facts. And I know you don't want to hear it, but now you're also wondering, but what could it be? If it's not the competition, if it's not the algorithms, and if it's not the economy, what is it? Well, the thing that's keeping you stuck is not outside of you. That's the problem that you're making. You're looking at everything outside of you, and you're not looking inside. You're not looking inside of you. I know what you're thinking. Most people think that sounds like a bumper sticker quote, like a kung fu movie cliche. Maybe it sounds like magic fairy tales and pixie dust. But the reality is there are six skills you have to master if you really want to become a top 1% founder. Because it's only a top 1% business owner that can build a top 1% business. See, the issue that you have, or that most people have, is that they want to build a top 1% business, but they are not a top 1% founder. They don't act like a top 1% founder. They don't think like a top 1% founder. They don't control their emotions. They don't look at their ego. They don't look at themselves. They don't look at their decisions like a top 1% founder. They make terrible decisions. So that said, you have to become a top 1% founder first before you can actually build a top 1% business. Now, again, this is the overview of the actual ebook that we created. I highly suggest that you find that ebook. It might be in the description and in this channel. Just look at that. There should be a link. Should be in an email somewhere. It should be on this page if you're watching it on the website. This is just a quick overview of what we're going to cover. And there are 6 internal skills that's holding you back. And those skills are self-awareness, number 1. Ego, number 2. How to control the ego. 3. How to control your emotions. 4. How to actually apply the knowledge that you're learning and how to learn at a faster rate and implement it at a faster rate. Focus, which is extremely important, and then people. All right, so let's start with self-awareness. Guys, self-awareness is probably the foundation and the key to becoming a top 1% founder, because if you're not self-aware, you're never going to be able to see your own mistakes. And if you don't see your own mistakes, you're never going to be able to fix those mistakes. And if you don't fix those mistakes, you're always going to make the same decisions, and you're always going to make the same issues, create the same issues for yourself, and it's going to become this self-fulfilling prophecy of a loop that you find yourself in. And then 5 years later, you're going to say, I am the victim, nothing goes my way, but it's because you never changed. And that is what we are trying to change, is for people to become more self-aware. Seeing your own patterns while they're happening and not seeing it only after 6 months or 12 months. When you reflect back as a teenager and you go, sheesh, I was so immature, sheesh, I was so irresponsible. That is hindsight reflection and a level of self-awareness. What you want is a self-awareness in real time. The moment you say something, your brain goes, oh, you know what? I probably could have done that better. Or, oh man, I probably, should just sleep on this before I act. Or I should probably look at controlling my emotions right now. Or my ego is getting in the way of this decision right now. That is self-awareness in real time. That's like a gate that helps you just prevent making stupid decisions. And that is what self-awareness is so important. Okay, again, this is the overview. Go deeper in the ebook if you feel like you need more nuances and context. Number 2 is the ego. Okay, the ego, guys. There's a book called The Ego is the Enemy. Now, the ego is a very complex word, depending on how you look at it, from a spiritual point of view, from a philosophical point of view, or from just a logical point of view at the end of the day. For the sake of this conversation, let's just pretend the ego is your personality, all right? And it is a mix of everything that you've learned up until now. It's a mix of your limiting beliefs and what you believe about reality. It is literally all your insecurities and all the things that bother you, all your pet peeves, etc. See, the ego is the thing that you need to become more self-aware of. And this is why self-awareness is also the first step, because self-awareness allows you to know when the ego is creating the bottleneck. The self-awareness allows you to know when the ego is trying to do shit that it's not supposed to do. And my mentor once said, he gave me a piece of advice, and he said, you know when your ego is in a way is when someone gives you advice and it hurts. That is when you know that your ego is getting in the way, because you might have a chip on your shoulder. I remember, like, I was the first person to run Facebook ads in South Africa, right? But that was all that I was good at. I was never really good at funnel building or building landing pages or writing emails and understanding sales psychology. So when someone tried to teach me those things, I was like, dude, I'm the person who learned Facebook ads myself. I will learn this myself too. I will teach myself this. And after starting the agency, I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder for like 3 years, and then we were stagnating. And I realized I am the problem. So what did I do? I spent $10,000 on a mentorship program. And what did that do for me? It allowed me to change my limiting beliefs. It allowed me to reflect on myself. It made me realize that I'm the bottleneck, and it allowed me to put my ego aside. And that allowed me to make better decisions, because my ego wasn't trying to cling on to being right. When you're sitting in a meeting with your staff members, you're sitting in a meeting with maybe, you know, consultants, whatever it may be, and people are sharing perspectives, are you going, nah, I don't want to accept that as truth because I know better? Or for some reason saying that makes me feel that I've got a little bit of hurt somewhere because my ego is getting in the way, because my insecurities are getting in the way, because I should have known that answer, because everybody looks at me as the leader to have all the answers? Or is it just that, you know what, I only know what I know. I'm here to bring all of you together in order to help make the best decision for the business. And that's what you as a leader need to do. You need to put your ego in the closet and just leave it there when it comes to making decisions for the business. Stage 3 is emotion. Okay, now that you've got self-awareness, you are aware when your ego is in the way. And when you're aware when your ego is in the way, you'll also be aware of the emotion that you're feeling. All right? So it's like, I am feeling insecure, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling maybe, you know, some level of friction that I shouldn't be feeling. And that is when you should pause. That is what self-awareness allows you to do. It allows you to realize when you're emotional in the moment, and it allows you to stop, pause, and reflect before you make stupid decisions. So we see so many business owners run their businesses on emotion. Zero logic, zero objective data, just purely emotion. For example, the ads are not profitable today, I'm gonna turn them all off. And you guys need to launch new ads tomorrow. You know, back in the day that used to happen because we were terrible at setting expectations. And it was a situation where we realized like these business owners were anxious about the money that they were spending. And the moment they didn't make a profit, they just immediately let the ego, you know, and the emotions get in the way. And, you know, they would pause ads randomly. They would start, you know, running discounts in a panic, hoping that to bring sales back or profits back. But somehow, you know, that just never happened. And they would fire people on the spot, or they would get upset with people for no reason. That is what emotion makes you do. It makes you make stupid decisions. It makes the journey harder for yourself if it's not under control. So it is ROI positive to be self-aware, to put your ego aside, and to notice when your emotions are taking over you. And what people with what top 1% founders do, these people know when they're feeling anxious about their cash, they check their 13-week cash plan. They check their forecast. They check their projections. That's what I do. The moment I get a little bit of anxiety, I go, where's our cash flow at? Where's our, you know, our projections like? And where's our cash on hand sheet? Those are the three things I look at. Our cash on hand sheet is a big one for me. Every month we do a cash on hand. How much cash do we have? How much liquid cash do we have so that we can invest in businesses when the opportunities come? That's my measuring stick. If that keeps growing, I know at a specific rate, then I know we're doing something right. When we're having a slow week, as opposed to pausing the ads, let's just ask ourselves, could it be something in the market? Is it the offer? Is it the price? Is it the messaging? You know, as opposed to just turning off the ads, it could be something completely else. When I'm frustrated with the team, or when you're frustrated with the team, or when the top 1% founder is frustrated with the team, they don't just shout at the team, they don't just fire people, they don't just get annoyed. They ask themselves, should I be setting clearer expectations? Should I be communicating clearer at the end of the day? And that brings us to stage 4, which is knowledge, right? So when you become self-aware enough, when your ego's in the closet, when you can control your emotions, you will also be able to absorb more information. Okay, when I had a chip on my shoulder, I didn't want to listen to other people because my ego got in the way. I got emotional about certain things, which means there was no receiving being done by the brain, because the brain was so focused on my ego that it wasn't actually absorbing the information, processing it, storing it, and allowing it to be recalled in a situation where that information could have helped me make a better decision. And I think that is when these three things are in check, knowledge will become more fluid, and it will flow into your life, and it will allow you to make better decisions in the moment. Okay, this is where you look at mentors and listen to what they say. You don't have to believe everything they say, but take what they say with an open mind. So here's one of my favorite things that I have, uncovered for myself, is having a high rate of learning. When your mind is open, when the ego's out of the way, when your emotions are under control, and you're very self-aware, and someone shares information with you, that information sticks, and that allows you to have a higher rate of learning. Okay, now the best entrepreneurs have an exceptional high rate of learning, and they have a very high rate of implementation. And the thing is, you can't have a high rate of implementation or a good rate of implementation and have a high probability of those things actually going the way you want it to if you don't have a high rate of learning. So high rate of learning first, then a high rate of implementation. And I think when those things come together, you will become a better founder, because you are able to actually speak to someone about a specific issue, gather all the necessary data points from different perspectives that will allow you to then process that information and actually make a better decision. But that won't be possible if your ego and your emotions are in the way and you're not self-aware. Then stage 5 is focus. So focus is so important. Most entrepreneurs have shiny object syndrome, right? When it comes to a top 1% founder, these guys are obsessed about one thing. They're focused on one thing, and that is building the thing that they want to build, nothing else. And I see so many entrepreneurs wanting to run 3, 4, 5, 6 businesses at a time, and it just doesn't work. Like, it's very hard to build one business, not alone 2 or 3. It's like having 2 or 3 wives, as a man. Like, it's just not possible. There's a very select few that can actually make that happen. So with that said, you need to make life easier for yourself by picking one lane and focusing as much as you can on it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be open to exploring other things, but I'm just saying don't be upset if you are exploring those things and the thing that you actually want to grow is not growing. That's all it comes down to. You're an adult, make your own choices, but focus is extremely important at the end of the day. And the last thing is people. You are not going to build a top 1% business or a great business without people around you. Yes, we're living in a world where AI agents exist, but AI agents are also people, if you think about it. Like, you still have to communicate with them. You still have to engage with them. You still have to guide them in doing what they need to do. So whether it's people you're guiding or AI that you're guiding, these rules are true. If you have vague communication, you will get vague results back. Same with AI. If you give AI a terrible input, you're going to get a terrible output. If you're going to give it a vague input, you're going to get a vague output. And it's the same with people. Most business owners get so frustrated with people, but the reality is, it's not the people around you that's the fault. That's the issue. It's you. You have vague communication. For example, you'll say something like, make the ads better, okay? No goal, no deadline, just make the ads better. Now your team, they don't know why you feel the ads are not good enough. So they're going to absorb that information and go, maybe he's referring to this. Let's take 6 hours to 24 hours and fix these things. Tomorrow they come back and say, hey, we fixed all these ads. And the business owner goes, no, it's still terrible. And they go, why do you think that? And he goes, I don't like this and I don't like that. And then they go, oh, so that's what you meant. And that's what vague communication does. Vague communication gives you vague results, and it just slows down the whole process at the end of the day. And most business owners who have vague communication, they are the ones who end up micromanaging, because the team doesn't know what to do because of vague input, they actually give vague output, and that's why the business owner then jumps back in, micromanages, and then feels like nobody here knows what the fuck they're doing. No, it's because of you that don't know how to actually delegate and communicate and set expectations accordingly and do regular checkings to make sure that things are moving forward. What you need to learn is how to be better at that. And the moment you're better at that, the people around you will also uplift themselves and most likely get to meet you in the middle a lot easier than you think it is. So clear, objective, tangible communication. This is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is the inspiration that I'm after, and essentially here's other resources that you can leverage in order to help you finish this in a specific way. And I would love to have it done this week, this time. And if you have any questions, or you're not sure, please contact me. I will make my phone available. I will turn it off of do not disturb so that I know your call's coming through so we can chat about it. So you need to make communication a priority if the actual thing that you want to do is a priority. And that will allow you to then better delegate and not find yourself in a situation where you feel everybody around you is incompetent and that you're the only person that knows what needs to get done. And maybe you do, but it's because you haven't told anybody else, because it's all in your head. So those are the 6 stages, guys. Self-awareness, ego, emotion, knowledge, focus, and people. And when you get through those stages, you will become a top 1% founder. And when you become a top 1% founder, that's when the business will start to lead the way to become a top 1% business. You need to become a top 1% founder first, then the business will follow. And that's what I had to learn the hard way. I wanted to build a top 1% business when I was never a top 1% founder. And I got upset with everybody else. And then I realized it is all me. So again, this is the overview video. This is not the final product. There is a PDF that we have curated with a lot more information, a lot more context, a lot more nuances addressed, and some further information that I would highly suggest you look through. From my point of view, hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.